Welcome to Men at the Tap, a podcast from Tapestry Ministries. Each episode reflects on the daily Bible reading from the Revised Common Lectionary. I'm Gloria, a fellow traveler on a spiritual journey with the Tapestry community. We call the daily Bible reading our spiritual manna. It nourishes our souls, fostering spiritual growth as we share insights and interpretations that enrich our spiritual lives. It is Resurrection Sunday, April 20th, 2025. The journey of Lent is now over. And the lectionary reading is from the Gospel of John, chapter 20, which tells the story of Jesus' resurrection. On Good Friday, we left Mary Magdalene as she was gazing at the lifeless body of Jesus on the cross. She watched as two of his secret disciples, Joseph and Nicodemus, took him off the cross. They embalmed his body with spices, and then they wrapped him in pieces of linen cloth. And she saw where they laid him in a tomb in the garden. It was time for her to leave and return home, but Mary was determined to return to the garden early Sunday morning despite her broken heart. She wanted to see Jesus' body one last time, but she didn't quite know how to remove the stone from the entrance to the tomb. It was still dark when she arrived on Sunday morning, and the stone had been removed from the entrance to the tomb. She was so frightened that she ran to the home where Peter and John were staying and blurted out that someone had taken the body of Jesus out of the tomb, and she didn't know where they had put him. The two disciples ran to the tomb trying to understand what Mary was saying. When they got there, John, the younger of the two, glanced in briefly, saw the strips of linen cloth, but he was too afraid to venture in further. When Peter, the older gentleman, caught up with him, he went straight into the tomb. He looked around and saw that the burial clothes were neatly placed. John then ventured in for himself, and he believed what Mary had said. The tomb was empty. Only the burial clothes were there, but no Jesus. Peter and John both abandoned Mary there, making their way back home. Mary was standing alone outside the tomb, weeping. And then she decided to go inside. And as she bent over and looked in, two angels were seated there. They asked her why she was crying. She wasn't really bothered by their presence and didn't hesitate to answer them because she said, "They've taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they've put him." The next moment, she turned around to see another person she did not recognize, and she assumed it was the gardener. He also asked why she was crying and who was she looking for. Mary thought perhaps he knew where Jesus was so she could get him. The light of resurrection shone brightly in that dark moment when she heard the man call her name, Mary. At once, Mary recognized that to be the voice of Jesus, her teacher. She ran to him and held him tightly. Jesus gently told her this was not the time to hold on to him. He still had an assignment to meet with his heavenly Father. But he gave her an assignment. She was to go to Jesus's brothers and sisters and tell them the good news of his resurrection. The sadness of Good Friday met with the resurrected joy of Sunday morning, and Mary, in obedience, spent the day sharing the good news. Jesus is risen. Well, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Tapestry community for participating in our Tapestry annual retreat. I hope you have a blessed Easter today, and please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.